lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan,
And I'm Manny.
and we're going to be talking about a book that I really dug this week. I was super excited to check this out. It's called Man's Best by Pornsak Pichetshote and Jesse Lonergan, who we're both huge fans of. Oh man, this book did not disappoint. It's so good. But before I get into it, I just want to remind everybody, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and check out some of the rest of the dope content we have on the channel. We go through new books, old books, indie books, big publishers. There's interviews, all that good stuff. So hit that subscribe button. Now let's check this book out. I was at Comics Pro for work, and I got the ash can, and I got to hear their pitch. Homeward Bound in Space.
Yep.
Basically, it's like the elevator pitch, which I was like, that's fantastic. Pornsak has done some really dope stuff. I don't know if you've read The Good Asian. Have you read that?
I have not, but actually, I just recently read Infidel, like the horror
I
comic he
haven't
did
read
with.
that. Dude, I've missed
Oh
that.
man, it is fantastic. That you should read that, and I think that would be a good one to do too, because I love horror and I love comics, and making a really good horror comic effectively is tough, and he fucking nailed it. But yeah, that's a good one. I love that
Okay.
one.
It's funny. I'm not a horror fan, but I like horror comics. Which is
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah.
which is kind of odd. Like I'm not saying like I won't watch a horror movie, but it's not like my go-to. But for some reason, I really gravitate towards horror comics for whatever reason. But yeah, that would be a great episode. I'd really love to do that. And Jesse Lonergan, dude, like
Oh man,
he is
I mean,
just like next level. He has he has such a unique visual storytelling aspect to his style.
yeah.
And Hydra was, I think, kind of like a breakout book for him. He's just a great dude, man. He's fucking really funny too in
Yeah, we
person.
got to hang out with him a lot at IC3. So,
Yeah, that was
that was
cool,
fun
dude.
to get.
I got to pick up a couple of his other books that hadn't checked out yet, so I'm very excited to kind of dive into those. But anyways, I think that this is, first of all, like I said, Pornsak I think is a very underrated writer. People don't talk about him enough, but his stuff is some of my favorite that I've read over the last few years. Like Good Asian is fantastic. He also was an editor back at Vertigo in like the 2000s. So like he's got some pedigree to him in the comic book industry, man. He's worked with some of the best, and he's creating. I like that he's doing these mini series. He hasn't been like on an ongoing, but he also did Dead Boy Detectives set within the Sandman universe. Anyways, I like this kind of cold open. I like, like all this like little technology and stuff that we're seeing with the
Yeah.
pets. A lot of people are, when I picked this up, he's like, "Oh, it's a We 3." And I'm like, "Well, not really." I guess I could see it from the cover,
Yeah.
like you could kind of like correlate that, but it has
I mean, it's
nothing to
it's
do with.
definitely an influence, but it does its own thing.
Yeah. I love the look
And
on this cat's face right here, dude.
oh yeah, man. I mean, Jesse's so good at drawing these animals, and again, like you said it earlier, like he's got such a distinct style. Like to me, what sets Jesse apart is the way he does his layouts. I think he does layouts like nobody else currently. He
Hmm.
really knows how to use that page and maximize like panel usage and like be creative with the panels, and he's done some stuff that I've never seen anybody do in the way he does his layout. So I was so excited to see him do something that has kind of like an animated feel to it also.
Yeah, and the cat character. So
Athos,
we
yeah,
have
because it's
Athos
the
the
Three
cat.
Musketeers, yeah.
Yeah, we have Athos the cat. It's funny why the dog's called Lovey instead of the other name, which like
Aramis, yeah, because
Aramis. Um, but I love it that like they each got these like mech, like he's got like a bionic leg, right? Athos has got this whole mech suit, and Lovey's just got this like fucking little like rocket attached. I don't know. It just
yeah,
made me laugh, dude. Like this, it's named Lovey.
it's very Tank Girl, though, the rocket on Lovely's back leg. It
Yeah.
reminded me of like Tank Girl.
The dog just starts like has to stop to sniff his ass.
I love
And-
when they do stuff like that with like when they well, this is not exactly anthropomorphic, but like when they make an animal like slightly more intelligent than they or more human like than they are in real life, but they still sneak in like things that dogs would do, like sniff their ass, because they're
yeah,
fucking dogs still.
yeah. I really love the design of this clanger. Like this, like if you just cut that out, I would know that was Lonergan
Oh,
instantly.
absolutely, man. And his sense of designing these like robots. I follow him obviously on his social media, and he's always posting all these cool like random designs. And like
Mhm.
each of them, I'm like, that could be a great like vinyl toy. I would put that shit on my shelf, you know, like
Yes, I would buy this
he's
for sure.
got an excellent sense of design, you know,
Mhm.
like not every comic book artist has. I mean, you can be a brilliant comic artist, but not have a design sense, and he happens to have both of those abilities.
Yeah. I love too, like you quickly get like the personalities of each of the pets.
Yes,
You know, like Athos is definitely like I would say more the leader. Lovey, like he just calls him useless. Porthos just thinks he's just completely useless. And then you see them running, and we're gonna learn that like what we're looking at, right, is not even reality, which I think is kind of
yeah.
interesting. Like it was very cold opening. You think it's these animals are on this planet. You're gonna see it in a couple pages, but
It's almost like
before,
they're in a danger room type of thing,
yeah,
you know, where they're
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
I love this though, right here.
Oh yeah, man, I love that.
So much,
And
dude, it's just fun to look at.
the next page I love too.
Are you talking
The
about this?
that page, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, dude, the coloring on here is fantastic.
Dude, yeah. I mean, the color palettes that he's using, like this sort of like pastel, which is something he does a lot, is beautiful. Like it just gives it like this. I mean, it's for lack of a better word, it's very pretty to look at. Like it's very delicate too, but not. I don't. Maybe that's not the right word, but that's the one I can think of now. But there's like a
Mhm.
delicate nature to his line work and his color palette and his sense of design that when you put all those three things together, it creates such a unique reading experience. Reading
Yeah.
a book by him is unlike anybody else's right
Oh, dude, I totally agree. I mean, look at this. Look at the
Yeah,
structure of the panels, and then you have
yeah,
that, and you go to that. Like it's something just completely different from page to page.
yeah,
And
yep,
I love that, now we're gonna meet the humans, right? They're obviously, and we're gonna see they're on some space station, but I love that the doc, who's the owner, who's their human, is
yeah.
you is putting them in here for entertainment.
Yeah, they're almost therapy animals for her too, because as we get into the story, we'll find out that they're in deep space trying to look for a planet to terraform because Earth is probably on its way out,
Uh-huh.
and whatever planet they were looking for has
Is
disappeared.
That's
That's the
crazy.
fun.
Yeah, and they're like,
Yeah,
how did this planet disappear? And what's interesting too is you're gonna see that it's not just, I like that you called out the therapy dogs or therapy pets, but they're not just for her. They end up being
no, they're for the
for
crew. Yeah,
everybody, right? So like there's now we're gonna start to like learn about this mystery. Obviously, this planet missing, and they're talking about these like any whatever happens on any new planet will come down to what the tomorrow core's shareholders decide, not us. We're still not enough to count. So that's a whole other aspect that we haven't even seen yet in this book
yeah.
of who are these people that are, who are the shareholders that are deciding all these things.
And I like that too because it calls back to like the Alien franchise, like where you have like at this point in the future, it's corporations that are the ones that are like sponsoring the deep space exploration. So like there's an element of like capitalism over like like pure exploration, which is what NASA and other spacefaring like organizations would probably want to do. Like
Yeah.
there's like a bottom line to this, which gives it a very unique feel. Like yeah, these are scientists, but they also have to deal with fucking shareholders and business people.
Yeah, the shitty people. I also
Yep.
love that they don't date this. There's no
Yeah,
there's no specific year, it's just it is what it is.
I didn't
And
notice that until you mentioned it, but that's very true,
yeah.
and that's a great point.
This is really great too, is like, just conveying this in the three panels right here. Like that, obviously, the doctor has like some sort of thing for the captain, right? And she's talking about how,
Yeah,
space
I
travel was
love that.
built on the belief there's power in inspiration and love. And like you can see, like she's almost gonna, like you can see that finger, like almost
Yeah,
going to
you
go
can
for
feel the
the,
tension. Like
yes.
that was one of my favorite. I'm glad you mentioned it because those three panels were really effective, and that one in particular I thought was very powerful. Like the way, like you said, like you feel that tension of their hands wanting to touch on both of their sides, but like they each might have a reason why not to take this any step further.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. Like I don't want to like be preemptive in saying about this book, but it almost feels like after I was reading this issue, like this could be something that is like an award darling, like at the Eisners or something, because like
Yeah, yeah,
it's so well written, it's so beautifully drawn, and both of these creators, like Pornsak has got, I believe he won an Eisner. Jesse's been
yeah.
nominated for Eisners, so. it's cool to see both of these talents come together. I think Jesse's like he's just continuing to be on the rise.
Yeah, man. He's gonna be, if he's not already a superstar. I mean, he is to people
Yeah.
like you and me, but he will be a even bigger artist in the
Yeah.
years to come.
And another thing too that I really love is we're talking a lot about the art, but Pornsak's like his writing, his characterization is
Hmm.
some of my favorite in comic books. He has there's so much like genuine human emotion in the
Yeah.
way he writes. Like you can definitely like you feel it when you're reading it. Like sometimes you can read something and like it just feels kind of dry. Like you don't feel that connection to the characters. I already feel connected to these characters in
Yes.
just few
The
pages.
humans and the animals,
Yeah,
and
exactly. And then the narration of Athos is just fantastic. As she, I'm assuming it's a she. Maybe it's a boy.
I don't know. I don't think we're told.
Yeah, we're okay. So Athos is like narrating, like just like definitely feeding on the emotion, like, oh, the doc's so sad today because she's talking about Captain Patel's been, tortured since his sister's death. So we're getting through her as she's contemplating laying in bed, like, okay, that's why Doctor or Captain Patel is like that, right? Like he's probably very cold because he's lost his sister. And she's like, we lost to the Clanger, and that's because I couldn't take charge, but she still loves loving us. And it's just like it
Yeah.
shows you like how great having a pet is, you know?
Yeah. And I'm an animal lover. I mean, we both have pets, so this
Yeah.
was something I really
Yeah.
wanted to
I got a
read
dog,
this
two
new.
cats. Yeah, dude, they're amazing. And then these fuckers are trying to get into her lab. I love how the pets just immediately the barking and then the hissing of the cat.
Yeah, again, that's why I love how, like, we're privy to all these animal stocks, but then like we also catch glimpses of them being just like, typical animals. I love the design of all the crew members too. Like the
Yeah, they
suits they're wearing, the uniforms.
hmm and they
There's a
all
lot
look
of
different.
Alien
They're
here too. I know it's a very delicate, and it's not like as a grime and gruesome story as Alien is, or at least not yet. But there's
yeah,
a design in the ship and like the sort of like labyrinth. The ship feels to me like it's huge and like very labyrinth like a lot of corridors,
it definitely feels
utilitarian in
pretty
design.
big, yeah.
And these are like working class, like spacefaring people too. Another thing that reminded me of Alien. They're not all scientists. Some of them are just workers that happen to be working in a spaceship.
Dude, something as simple as this, when Porthos is like, what's wrong? Who says something's wrong? You always lick when something's wrong. Athos is sore because he lost again. And then he's like, no, hey, we lost. And then they're gonna keep patrolling, and now we see them go into this like area with all the crew members, and we can see how
Yeah,
like they're like keeping everything the way it should be, happy. And you can see even Captain Patel cracks a smile, and then they start fighting when they're in there trying to like be happy, and they start bickering with one another. And you can see that Lovey's like kind of pissed, like, do you even remember the last time you saw grass? This argument, like, I remember grass. I do. So green, I remember. And I don't know, this scene made me laugh, but it's like,
yeah.
yeah,
This
as a pet, like I can understand, like you're trapped in space, you haven't seen outside, right? And like he's taking it one way because Lovey is the pet that the doc has had the longest, right? So he's the elder.
he's kind of like a grumpy old man. I love that panel with the ship. Like I love it
This
when
one right
they do
here.
scale. Well, that one's great with the
Oh,
speed
so
lines. The one all
oh,
the
you're
way on
talking,
top.
oh, this, yeah.
But yeah, like very again, it's like deceptively simple, man. Like it looks so simple, but it conveys so much. And you've got the overlapping balloons there in space.
Dude, this
It
too, this
shows you how
fucking
alone. Oh man, that was beautiful.
the planet with all this like grid-like breakdown and stuff with this orb around it. And
Yeah,
this planet just pops up out of nowhere. Gravity's pulling them in. And then I love this, dude, how everything looks like it's like we're like spinning around and it goes black. Oh
yeah.
my God, so dope.
What a great
And
way to convey like gravity pulling you in.
yeah. And then they crash land, they get all their mech gear, but this is where it like changes for me, right? Have they now entered into a different reality, like a virtual reality, right? Like, are they
Right, or
sensing
I
it?
mean, they just got sucked in by this planet's gravity. Like,
Yeah,
and we know how gravity in deep space can work and like, be like weird and wormhole-ish and like,
yeah.
and is it with it like you mentioned earlier, that planet had this thing around it. Like, has this planet already been terraformed, or is there more to this planet than meets the eye?
hmm
Like it definitely opens up a mystery element that has me very intrigued.
Dude, this too turning into this like robot creature
I
or
love it.
robot character. That's so dope. I
And
love
like
these panels are
it's
so
very
great, dude.
surreal at this point. Like the design of that robot is there's almost like a Mobius aspect to some of these stuff too. Like I think that might have been on Jesse's mind
Yeah,
when drawing this because it
that'd be
has like
cool
a
to.
Euro comics feel.
It would definitely be cool to ask him like, what was he like? Was he looking at
Yeah.
something specific when he was doing this? Like the coloring too on here, this like watercolor is just beautiful.
Oh
This
yeah,
right here
yeah.
too. Let me get my helmet down and then those just blasted away, dude. And I love this. Look at how he just starts licking the cat. And he's and
His expression there is
yeah,
so good. Like,
Lovey's
oh
great right here.
yeah,
Dude, yeah. It's
he might be
awesome.
my favorite currently.
Dude, it was just such a fun issue, dude. And now they're on the
Yeah,
trail. And this is like to me where like the Homeward Bound part comes in. Like
yeah,
they're off to find the doc to see like where she went, to go save her. And you just see this sprawling fucking tech city within this like
yeah.
new world.
So
And
yeah,
then
there's definitely more to this planet than meets the eye. It's like,
yeah,
and I don't think this is the planet they were looking for because they were looking for a planet to terraform.
yeah.
Like, this is a planet that's already had something on it. I mean, it's a kind of advanced civilization. So there's
Mhm.
definitely something up, and you might be onto something with a different reality, or did they travel through time? Like what the hell's going on? Like,
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, and I
yeah,
love this. I love this little letter by Pornsak. I love how much he calls out Jesse's work and how
yeah,
important he is and a collaborator in every sense of the word on this journey. Like it's amazing. It's such a great comic book. And I've been really digging what Boom's been doing lately. I picked up a couple of their other number ones recently. It's just fantastic. So if you guys haven't been checking out some of the recent Boom stuff, I highly recommend it. But this definitely of the
yeah.
titles that have come out, this one's definitely my favorite. So hit up your shop, go pick up the comic. You're not going to regret it. It's definitely so far was my favorite book of the week. So go,
Agreed.
go check it out. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, we're out.